I think the one thing that my father and my mother taught from the very start, that living off the land is such a privilege. You lived off the land, but you also gave back to it. I'm Sheree Commerford, and I have a business called Captain and the Gypsy Kid. We tell stories that we're really passionate about. I created Captain and the Gypsy Kid to allow me to be with my children more, but also to create a purposeful education. It's so important to me that they grow up being outside and having a respect for nature and a connection to it. I worry about the level of natural disasters, but when I think of my children and their children and their children, I have to believe that we can get to that level of peace, because, you know, that's what drives us and motivates us to live and to do this work. Travel's never going to stop, and it would be awful if it did. We love to travel, and it's fundamentally a part of who we are, and we all know that that is the reality of flying, that there are carbon emissions. I do think about it a lot, and I've started adopting other ways to kind of maybe make a difference in that space. When carbon offsetting first started getting mentioned on the news and it became this big kind of corporate term, it wasn't really simplified for the everyday person to understand, and I didn't actually know if it had truth to it either. I would book a flight and I'd be like, oh, there's another box to tick. Is it making a difference? I'm ticking this box, and it seems like a good thing to do. The first time we heard about the Babinda project was when we actually went to Queensland and met Liz and Dennis. That was the beginning of understanding what it actually means to tick the box. Dennis and Liz are such special humans, and their passion and dedication for that project. Watching the kids, they went on that journey from the very start.
Currently, it only takes a few hours for the water to move from the mountains to the reef.
If we have chemicals that rush into the Great Barrier Reef, we have all sorts of problems.
Outbreaks of crown of thorn starfish and coral bleaching.
The Great Barrier Reef is precious to the world. It's a very, very important place. You feel like you've got an obligation to try and look after the reef. What we're trying to do is protect the Great Barrier Reef.
The Babinda Reef project involves reinstating wetlands and replanting endangered rainforest in areas that were previously cleared for farming.
We're trying to fix up the riverbanks to regenerate something similar to what we had before. We plant trees that belong to the regional ecosystem. It doesn't take long for these trees to regenerate. About 2 years, 2.5 to 3 years.
By revegetating, we'll be slowing the water down and allowing nature to filter it before it gets to the reef. We've got an amazing group of partners that are working together, such as Green Collar, Qantas, James Cook University, cane farmers, and the broader group of volunteers who work with us on a daily basis.
Well, we're all here together, and we need to protect what we've got and try and make things better for future generations. It's not just an Aboriginal problem, it's not just the farming community problem, it's everybody's problem. You feel like you've got an obligation to look after country and future generations. I think we will definitely get there.
Being up there on the cane farm with Liz and Dennis, it reminded me a lot of being home and being a kid, and also having an appreciation for my father and how he worked the land. You know, we would live off it, we would take our livelihood from it, but he was always very conscientious of giving back to it. Dad had always been going on about fire management and land management with fire. I didn't know about the Dumby Ranges in the Kimberley. Edmund and the Rangers are using 60,000 years of traditional knowledge using right way fire to help prevent wildfires. Now they can, tell that story like no one else.
If a hot fire comes through, it destroys everything from the plants to the animals and our rock art sites. My name is Edmund Jungan, and I'm a Dambi Mangari Ranger, and I look after the land and sea on our Dambi Mangari country. That expression, fighting fire with fire, means literally fighting fire with fire. Right way fire means that we're gonna have regeneration. Putting on my Dambi uniform, I feel really important to myself and other Dambi members who look at me in the community, and I'd like to think maybe they feel proud as well of me representing them. When new guys come to the Dambi Mangari Rangers, you see a change in them. They look like a leader in the community. They're 10 feet tall all of a sudden. Deep inside, you would love to go out to where your ancestors came from and try and make a connection to the country again. Back in town, you tell your kids about them, maybe they'll get curious and say, oh, when I grow up, I want to go and see what my dad has seen and where we come from, really.
I didn't actually know that these initiatives were in practice. Finding out what Australia is doing regarding climate change and climate initiative programs that led on to the Maori forest protection. Listening to Ken, the Maori elder, talk about caring for the land and his ancestral journey about regenerating the forest. You don't need any other reason to do carbon offsetting when you listen to him speak.
I te ao i te manamatanga mi te aroha mo i ne taonga tuku iho, I mihi nei, I mihi nei, I mihi nei. And what I've just said is, in this world of light, in this world of dark, we give great thanks for the treasures left to us by our ancestors, and we revere them now. This is a special place. We are on the edge of the world. We face out onto the Southern Ocean, next stop Antarctica. My ancestors, the Maori, revered the forest. They had names for everything. Every type of tree, type of plant had an ancestral story to it. At the time when my ancestors were in this area, they were in very small groups who moved around the coast and into the forest to harvest material for their survival. Before anything was removed from the forest, prayers were said. With the arrival of the colonists, we followed their example and cleared the forest and turned it into farms.
The vision was that we had a farm, because that's what we saw the European colonial settlers doing. So we'd cut down the trees, we'd sell the trees, and that would help fund the farm. In the past, when we cut these trees down, we had no choice. We needed the income to come from the forest. Now, we can leave the trees here, we can sell carbon credits instead of selling logs. As these trees grow, they absorb carbon from the atmosphere. This project is a pioneering project, and for me, it's been a massive education into global warming, the importance of keeping the carbon into the forest.
My late mother used to say to me, I will never get anything out of our ownership in this forest resource, but you will. And it won't be dollars and cents, it will be the sense of wonderment and achievement that we have taken this degraded resource and made it better for the sake of my children and my children's children and their children's children after that.
It's pretty amazing, really. I think our tupuna or our ancestors would just think it's amazing that we're actually making an income allowing our forest to grow and preserving and looking after our forest through people that are flying in airplanes across the world.
Well, really, are we going to make a difference? Look at nature. The answer is in nature. I mean, you put a seed in the ground and it grows. It's right in front of you. I think that's the big thing that people need to move towards, is that it's just the little things that we do every day. And that's, ticking that box.